So we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Status Q, Chapter 6, verse number 40. If somebody can share, yeah, thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Hari Om Tatsat 3.6.40. Yato aprapya nyavartanta vachascha manasa saha aham cha nyaime devas tasmai bhagavate namaha. Yato aprapya nyavartanta vachascha manasa saha aham cha nyaime devas tasmai bhagavate namaha. Yato prapya nivartanta vachascha manasa saha aham cha nyaime deva tasmai bhagavate namaha. Synonyms. Yata, from whom, aprapya, being unable to measure, nyavartanta, cease to try, vacha, words, cha, also, manasa, with the mind, saha, with, ahamcha, also the ego, anye, other, ime, all these, deva, demigods, tasmai, unto him, bhagavate, unto the personality of Godhead, namaha, offer obeisances. Translation by Divanges A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Words, mind and ego, with their respective controlling demigods, have failed to achieve success in knowing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, we simply have to offer our respects to obeisances unto him as a matter of sanity. You repeat, words, mind and ego with their respective controlling demigods have failed to achieve success in knowing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, we simply have to offer our respectful obeisances unto him as a matter of sanity. Purport. The froggish calculator may raise the objection that if the absolute truth is unknowable even by the controlling deities of speech, mind and ego, namely the Vedas, Brahma, Rudra and all the demigods headed by Brahaspati, then why should the devotees be so interested in this unknown object? The answer is that the transcendental ecstasy enjoyed by the devotees in delineating the pastimes of the Lord is certainly unknown to non-devotees and mental speculators. Unless one relishes transcendental joy, naturally one will come back from his speculations and concocted conclusions because he will see them as neither factual nor enjoyable. The devotees can at least know that the absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, as the Vedic hymns confirm. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pasinta Surya Divechakshurapam Tad Viprago Runayo Jagravam Samandate Vishnu Et Paramam Padam. Bhagavad Gita 15.15 also confirms this fact. Vedaischa Sarvair Ahameva Vidya Vedanta Krit Vid Eva Chaham. By the culture of Vedic knowledge, one must know Lord Krishna and should not falsely speculate on the word aham or I. The only method for understanding the supreme truth is devotion service. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.55, Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yasti chasmi tatvada tato mam tatvato gnatva visate tadanantam. Only by devotional service can know that the ultimate truth is the personality of Godhead and that Brahman and Paramatma are only his partial features. This is confirmed in this verse by the great sage Maitreya. With devotion he offers his sincere surrender namaha to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Bhagavate. One has to follow in the footsteps of great sages and devotees like Maitreya and Vidura, Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami, and engage in transcendental devotion service of the Lord if one would know his ultimate feature, which is above Brahman and Paramatma. try to understand this verse. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanasarākaya Chakshurunmīlitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vacharam Pangum Langete Girim Yat Krupa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurum Denatarina Paramananda Madhavam Sri Caitanya Iswaram. Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Vaishnavam Ki Jai. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्. श्री रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय. Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavan ki jai. So we are reading from 3.6.40. So it has a lot of details. We will see how much we can cover. Many angles of vision on this verse. We can take a look. So one title we can say is how to attain ultimate happiness. If you go back to the previous chapter, Vidura Maharaj is asking a question. What is it? Asking to Maitreya Muni. Is asking, please direct us how we can attain ultimate happiness. So we are trying to get happiness through so many methods, but we are never satiated. But please direct us to ultimate happiness. It is mentioning, and this is in 3.5.2. Yadatra yuktam bhagavan vadetna. So please tell us. Then Maitreya Muni is speaking about this, how obviously asked about the creation and many other things about the Lord. Then Maitreya started explaining about this in this chapter, creation of the universal form, how the Lord has expanded himself as Purusha Avatar, and in the second Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, then Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. Then all his 23 elements has been activated by the Lord, and then all the demigods, one by one elements generated, appeared from the Lord, and then also demigods has taken the control of these various, basically 23, these elements within the body of the living entities. So they are the control, but here we can see Yato aprapya nyavartanta. So first one will go word by word. Aprapya means unable to measure. It also means aprameya. We see in Lord Ramachandra's prayers also. Sri Raghavam Dasarathatmajam aprameya. The Lord cannot be measured. Lord cannot be. So prameya means you can measure, you can conceive, you can perceive. But aprameya means you cannot conceive it. And Vishnu Sahasranama, we see that aprameya Rishikesha Padmanabho Amar Prabhu Vishwakarma Manustvasta Stavishta Staviro Drovaha. So where it is explained that aprameya is immeasurable, and Rishikesha is the controller of all the senses. One must surrender to the Lord and pray to the Lord so that we can control our senses. Otherwise there is no way we can understand or perceive the Lord. Padmanabha, and very apt for this chapter especially. We are talking about Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. Lord Brahma has came from his navel, from his lotus flower. So that is called Padmanabha. And Vishwakarma, and the power of creation is unique and wonderful. Nobody else can create like this. His Lord is in that way. Vishwakarma, as we see in chapter 9, verse number 4. Maya tadam idam sarvam jagat abhyaktam murtina. So then Manu, one who manifests himself as a Vedic mantras, as a great thinker, as a mind, as it is mentioned in Vachesa, Manasa, Saha also in this verse. And Tvasta, one who has created different names and forms in this universe of the Lord, has chiseled in so many diverse forms and names in terms of various living entities, demigods, animals, birds, so many. Stavishta, exceedingly huge in size. Staviro Dhruvaha, oldest, always existed, unaffected by time, unchanging. So in this way we can see. And then we can also see, Prabhupada explains in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 18, about this aprameya. Soul is there, and super soul is there, Lord is there within the heart, but we cannot, we can measure the, we can see and measure the consciousness, but actually we cannot measure the soul, we cannot measure the super soul. So Lord is giving the Shastra through the Supreme Lord. We are understanding that 1/10,000 tip of the hair. But we cannot actually measure the super soul, not the Lord. In some places it is mentioned when Parikshit Maharaj was able to see when Lord protected him within the womb. When Asadama released Brahmastra, Lord expanded himself from so small to 9 inches of thumb size. Parikshit Maharaj was able to see. And then in Bhagavad Gita, we can, Lord is telling how nobody can understand him, even the demigods. Same thing is mentioned. Name vidusura gana prabham na maharsha aham adri devanam maharshayasya sarvasa. So it is very, and then we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself fainted and he came in Jagannath Puri, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has taken the Lord and tried to find what's happening, and then he saw that there is no movement in Lord's abdomen. Generally when you are breathing, you have movement in the Lord's abdomen, but there is no movement actually for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he put a cotton swab in front of his nostril, then it started a little bit flaring, moving. Then he could understand. Then he took Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home. So unless only by the sincere devotion and faith, one who is chanting, how we can understand that has been explained by the Lord himself is explaining, or in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is explained. The solution is Jnane Prayasam. This is explained in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda conversation, that Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda, please explain how we can, Kali Yuga people can be delivered, how we can attain, what is the ultimate goal. Then one by one he was explaining, he said, this is external, Iho Bahya, further, speak more. Then he came to this point and the Mahaprabhu said, yes, this is good, okay, now you can speak further. So that verse is this Brahma's prayers in 10th canto, chapter 14, verse number 3. Jnane prayasam udapasya namanta eva sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam sthane stuti gatam tanuvan manovir jita ajita strailokhyam. So only way we can conquer is by giving up the mental speculations. That's what we can see. We are trying to conquer, we are trying to control, we are trying to bind, like Duryodhana is trying to bind Krishna when he showed the universal form. He tried to bind, and Lord showed universal form, but still he couldn't understand, he couldn't digest, he couldn't come to his senses. And same thing we see that Hiranyakashipu and Ravana tried to, conquer the soul, universe, conquer, thinking that they are the masters and enjoyer. And Ravana also tried to build a staircase to the heavenly planets, to the higher planet. In this way, everybody is trying to become the master and enjoyer. But so only way we can is by becoming a servant or servant leader. Then only we can understand. Otherwise, there is no possibility. So, jitita ajita strailokyam. Only way we can conquer is when we give up this speculation. Sthane stuti gatam tanuvan manovir. By these three ways, tanu, van, manovir. Tanu means body, van means words, walk, as it is explained in this verse also. Mind, manasa. With these three things, so, and doesn't matter whether it's what varna, what ashrama, where he is coming from, what is his position, none of these matters. So that's why Mahaprabhu like, yes, this matters, because if we say that come to varna ashrama system, follow this, follow that, so that's why Mahaprabhu is saying that in Chaitanya Charitamrita in Adi Leela, beautiful chapter number 7 in Adi Leela, so many wonderful details. So Mukunda Datta Prabhu is going to speak on that whole chapter following week. But there it is explained that how when Lord Krishna appeared, the opulence, the whole madhurya, the sweetness, the love of Krishna prema is being given. Krishna brought it obviously, but it is concealed. Where it means Sei Pancha Tattva Mili Prudvi Asiya Purva Prema Bandarera Mudra Ugadiya. Mudra means sealed. Ugadiya. Now it is being opened. Who has opened it? Panche Mili Lute. Lute Prema Kare Aswadam. Yata Yata Piye Tandra Bade Anukshan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought, along with his associates, he opened up this seal. When Krishna appeared, he has given so many conditions for surrendering to get the Krishna Prema. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with his associates, opened up this bottle of Krishna Prema so that we can understand. And then again and again, he plundered that storehouse and to taste transcendental love of Krishna. More they tasted it, more their thirst grew. So then Mahaprabhu, later on then Mahaprabhu was in Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhara Acharya's home in Varanasi. And then they asked them, they were very much lamenting, and there is another Brahman, Sanodiya Brahman, Maharashtra Brahman. He was also lamenting because everybody is, especially the Mayavadis, were criticizing, creating offenses. As devotees, we cannot hear. So they are obviously very much concerned. Then while they were discussing with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this way, then this Brahmana came to invite the Lord. And also he invited all these Mayavadi sannyasis, Prakasa and Saraswati and others. So there, we all know that pastime, but their clear instruction is being given is how to, they asked Prakasa and Saraswati, why are you sitting at that place, dirty place? You are coming from our Sampradaya, you are in Varanasi, you are in place, you should come and associate with us. You are supposed to study Vedanta. That is the ultimate goal, that is the highest perfection. So why are you sitting there? Come and associate. You never came and associating with us. Then Mahaprabhu gave him, yes, my spiritual master has told me that I am a fool, so I should chant the holy name of the Lord and I cannot study this Vedanta. Then Mahaprabhu quoted that Krishna mantra japa sada yei mantra sa, chanting the holy name of the Lord, this is the essence, yei to marma. Later on also another verse. So there Prabhupada explains in the purport that how somebody can say that this is the essence of all the Vedas. There Prabhupada quotes that verse. Rugveda ata yajurveda samavedo api atarvana aditastena yenoktam haris iti aksharadvayam. Harir iti aksharadvayam. By simply chanting the two syllables Hari, then that automatically we get the essence of all the Vedas, all the four Vedas. And so automatically we have read. And then further Mahaprabhu says that by simply taking the name of Lord Krishna, chanting the mantra of Lord Krishna, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna mantra haive samsara mochan, Krishna nama haite pave Krishna charan. We will deliver from the samsara material existence and will attain the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord in this way. So in this way we can understand that aprameya is immeasurable, but only one way we can attain, understand or conquer Lord by this chanting the holy name of the Lord. Nirantara laive prema. Again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructed to Sanatana Goswami later on. Tara madhya sarva sreshta sarva nama sankirtam nirantara pave Krishna premadaha. So one way to attain is by chanting the holy name of the Lord. So only way we can chant continuously is if we practice it. But we are being, externally we are not clean, internally neither we are clean. We are trying to grow beard. Prabhupada told, don't become again, come to the hippies. Always shave, cut your nails every week, twice. You have to, if you are not externally clean, no way we can come to internal cleanliness. Because problem is our external cleanliness itself is not there. So then automatically internal cleanliness. Shaving, cutting the nails, the hair must be short. This must be regularly done. So, and then as soon as the nails touches the water when we are offering, it is impure. Hair falls in any prasad or anything, it is impure. You can't even offer. Prabhupada chastised many times. And then the body, serving the pure devotee, serving the Lord. There is a pastime where Ramadas devotee, disciple of Prabhupada was in Calcutta. Bhavananda Prabhu was there. And then one time Prabhupada was, Bhavananda Prabhu was serving Prabhupada the prasadam. Then Prabhupada took prasadam, Bhavananda Prabhu went to get something else. Then meantime Ramadas Prabhu was there outside guarding, basically waiting. And then Prabhupada came, rang bell. Nobody was there. Then he said, oh, something, maybe Prabhupada wanted something. So then we went rushing inside. Then Prabhupada said, Prabhupada had, he was eating khichdi and other things are there in his hand, khichdi was there a little bit. So then he saw Prabhupada said, okay, please take me to the bathroom. Prabhupada is not done with the meal actually, so take me. So then he took, Ram Das Prabhu took Prabhupada on his shoulders, took him to the bathroom. Prabhupada finished and then came back, and then Prabhupada told, go quickly and tell them not to take my plate, I am not done with my meal. Then he also, in that way, Ramdas Prabhu was sharing that this became, then other devotees, oh, you became the pilgrimage for us because you have touched, you have taken the body of the Lord, you have served the body, Vapu, of the spiritual master, the pure devotee of the Lord. Now you became the pilgrimage. So then Ramdas Prabhu was sharing that his whole life became now always constantly reminded and thinking of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, how much mercy he has given to him by able to serve him, touch him, take him, even though Prabhupada could have done alone. But obviously two considerations are there. One, he is alone giving his mercy, but other consideration, because he hasn't done. The one hand is there, other hand, so he is still not done. So hands shouldn't touch other hand also. So many considerations, external cleanliness, and Prabhupada is very particular how he takes water, everything what Prabhupada does, pure devotee does is everything is transcendental, fully conscious. So how we take prasad, every morsel, how Krishna tasted us, this is how we have to be absorbed in that consciousness. So in this way we can understand, we can conquer. Then we come to that way in Upachara, we rush and we try to finish. There is a proper process for Upachara. There is a way to do, and even Jananivas Prabhu also said, how are you worshipping? Prabhupada asked in Mayapur, how are you worshipping? Then he explained my mantra. Then he said, yeah, we chant Brahma Gayatri before worshipping the deity, before dressing, before doing the Abhishek. That is good. Om is there. That is very good. That is very Prabhupada told. In this way, before we do that, there is the external twice Achaman, Vaishnava full Achaman. That means external cleanliness. We must be clean before also. Obviously, in all these things, what I mentioned. Then we sit down to do Gayatri. There is a first Smarana is there. There is a purifying the earth and the bell. You are offering prayers to them. Then you are chanting the Gayatris, various Gayatris from Brahma Gayatri to even we see in Brahma when he was born, he couldn't know what he is supposed to do. Then he meditated. He heard the word Tapa. Then he meditated. Then Mother Saraswati appeared, and then through Lord Krishna's float, by her mercy, through Lord Krishna's float, then he received the mantra of Gayatri. There also we see that then only he could create, otherwise there is no possibility for him to create. So while we are doing the Upachara, we have to slowly and steadily do the Gayatri. That means we are supposed to offer. That's what is there in the book also. So it is very particular. If we are not doing that, then whatever we may do, that means we are not in the right consciousness. We try to do something or the other, and then things are here and there. We can see, by seeing how the deities are dressed, we can see our consciousness, we can see how much we are externally clean, internally clean. So we should be very careful, and we should take others' input, we should see. And when we finish the dressing, we need to see, everybody should see and how everything is presentable or not. We try to take pictures and send it. But understand that if you want to send our picture, how do we do that? We make sure that everything is fully properly dressed. We don't open up something and then send to somebody. We don't share. That's why before we send pictures, we have to make sure that everything is proper. Before we open the altar, we have to make sure things are in line, things are placed in order, and it's not topsy-turvy here and there. So this is very particular. That means otherwise it is impersonal. That is the biggest problem we have. That's why this verse is saying, that's why Maitreya Muni is telling this point. Impersonal means we are not paying attention to the details. So that is impersonal. It means we are not understanding how the Lord should be decorated, how it should be clean. All these things must be very, very particular. So unless we come to that point, there is no progress. Then we cannot chant 24 hours. That's why there is, other than Prabhupada always, if you look at Prabhupada, he was translating everything, so many things he was doing. But whenever he is done, he is internally chanting, he is picking up the beads and chanting. He is walking and chanting, he is sitting and chanting, he is always in chanting. 24/7 he is always chanting. So if you want to come to that absorption, then we must pay attention to the details. and we must be externally clean and internally clean. But we are so much absorbed in our decoration of the body, in our decoration of the pictures and so many things ourselves. But when it comes to the deity, we are very much negligent. We are more of impersonal than the personal. If we are personal, we will be very careful. We watch every detail of it. So that's what we have to be careful from this verse. If we want to understand, then we have to become more and more personal. Develop that attachment and relation. Now the next verse, next word is mentioned here, nevatpanta. That means cease to try. Yeah, they keep trying. Keep trying. These impersonalists, those who are trying to understand God through knowledge. There it is mentioned that in the 10th canto, Prabhupada is mentioning that they refused to return. The gopis of Vrindavan, they left their husbands. It is mentioned, Ta varyamana patibhi pitrubhir bratru bandhuvi govindera apahrata atmano na nevartanta mohita. They all tried, the fathers and brothers and relatives, they all tried to stop these gopis. Because as soon as they heard the flute sound, they immediately left. But they tried to stop all of them, but they didn't listen. They left and they went to Krishna. Govinda apahrata atmana. They were very much attracted. Na nevartanta mohita. The enchanting sound they heard, they left, they didn't care. So this is what one who is a pure devotee, he doesn't care external who said what and this and that, compliance, criticism. This is what is going on. As a devotee, we are constantly either criticizing, trying to find faults. Obviously, as leaders, they have to, that is their job. But the rest of us, we are not in that position, we shouldn't be. We can bring it to the leader, but we shouldn't be having this mentality that is again impersonal. If we are personal, then we must be following Prabhupada's instruction. Where two devotees are the two people, even within the family, this goes on. You can't stop that. So we should be more, somehow become internalized, find our own faults, rather than trying to find other things and discuss. We have much more things to do. So that is called prajalpa. So that's why we have to think. Then only, otherwise there is no way. Well, we can constantly observe. The test will be one day, try to focus on how much we are chanting. Other than 16, how much we are chanting, how much we are thinking of Krishna. That's why there is a Sravana Dasha, Varana Dasha, Smarana Dasha, Sampatti Dasha. This is the first class we discussed when we started these on our channel, Bhagavad. First class we discussed this. So from Sravana Dasha, if we want to come to the Varana Dasha, Smarana Dasha, Sampatti and Samadhi, then that means we have to be very careful, paying attention to details and especially the instruction. Main thing is whether we remember the verse or not is not important. Whether we remember the essence, whether we are following in a day, try to gauge it. How much we are chanting, how much we are remembering. Then we have to see what exactly is allowing us, taking us away. Time is being taken away from Krishna. Then we should, that's why another solution Bhagavad Gita Krishna is mentioning. Prabhupada quotes again and again. Tasyaham salvaparda. How will you get very easily? Ananya cheta satatam tasyaham salvaparda. Nitya yuktasya yogna. If you are chanting, if you are remembering without deviation, ananya cheta satatam tasyaham salvaparda. Nitya yuktasya yogna. Yomam smarata nityasa. One who is remembering me without deviation, for them I will be attained very quickly, very easily, sulabha, very easily. So that means we are not there. So that means we are not even trying there. We are trying to focus on finishing 16 rounds, but we are not trying to focus actually what is exactly causing it. What is this? This hair is growing as a beard. Everything is piling up. The dust is piling up. So many unwanted things are piling up. The days and days, 40, 50 years, 60 years going by, but nothing, the internal conscience, we are not crying. I am not crying. Why am I not crying? Did we ask Prabhupada? Did we ask the Lord? No, we asked maybe sometimes once in a blue moon. But this should be asked every day, while sleeping, while waking up. Where is my consciousness going? Why am I being taken away from this? Then Prabhupada explains in this Tanuvan Manohi, in that verse we discussed earlier, 10:14:3. So he is quoting Sanatana Goswami. Body is conquered, Krishna's body is conquered because he always remains by the side of his pure devotees. Words are conquered because he always chants the glories of his devotees. Mind is conquered because he always thinks about his loving devotees. And then he is quoting Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Namanta, take full advantage of transcendental topics of the Lord by offering all respects to those topics with their body, words and mind. Body, because he is touching the ground. Hands and head, That's why while offering obeisance, that also another point. We have to offer our pranam to Guru, first line at least. But more than that, feelingly, we should be sincerely submitting to the Lord and seeking His mercy, removing unwanted things. That is the main reason. That means we are giving up our false ego. We are thinking constantly this enjoying and creating mentality. So body must be touching the ground, hands and head. Then we can conquer. The words praising transcendental literatures and devotees. Mind feeling great reverence and pleasure while hearing the transcendental topics of the Lord. In this way, sincere devotee who has acquired even small amount of transcendental knowledge can conquer the Lord and go back home. And then we see that in the Nakula Brahmachari's place also, how Lord entered into his body. And he is able to conquer the Lord. By his intense devotion, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered into the body of Nakula Brahmachari, and Sivananda has the doubt. I will stop here with this verse, 2.5.6, where Nakula Brahmachari's thing is mentioned, past time. Shakshat darsane praya sabha nistarila Nakula Brahmachari deha avistahaya. So, in this way, we can conquer the Lord by submissive devotion and constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord, somehow or the other. As mentioned in this verse, yato aprapya nyavartanta, unable to measure, unable to obtain, nyavartanta, and cease to these speculators, mental speculators, cease to keep on trying to search. So the solution has been given even by Lord Krishna to Lord Brahma, as we discussed. That Lord Krishna, through his flute sound, Brahma received Kama Gayatri, Krishna Gayatri and Kama Gayatri, two Gayatris. And then Lord Krishna said to Brahma, on hearing these hymns, because then he offered these beautiful prayers, Chintamani Prakara Sadmas Kalparuksha, and then so on, many 30 verses or so. Then Lord Krishna told to Brahma that if you experience the inclination to create offspring by devotion, by being endowed with real knowledge of the glory of Godhead, listen, my beloved, from me to these signs set forth in the following 5 slokas. These 5 slokas are very important slokas. It is giving us the solution also. Prabuddhe Jnana Bhakti Bhyam Atmane Ananda Chinmayi Udeti Anuttama Bhakti Bhagavat Prema Lakshana. When the pure spiritual existence is excited by means of cognition and service, bhakti, cognition and service, that means consciousness, we are applying our mental faculties and we are serving practically, not just using our mind intelligence to think, but super excellent unalloyed devotion characterized by love for God, it is awakened toward Krishna, the beloved of all souls. So basically here Krishna is talking about bhakti, and then that knowledge includes knowledge is talking about Dasamola Tattva, 10 principles. The knowledge that embraces only the first 7 of the 10 basic principles. Dasamola is the knowledge of the relationship. So Krishna is talking about Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana within this Dasamola Tattva. So first 7 of them are coming under that Sambandha. Then the further substantial nature of the spiritual function is Abhideya. Following that, so he is telling also service, practical service, science of devotion, hearing, chanting, meditation, tending his lotus feet, worshipping by rituals, making prostrations, offering obeisance, which in this verse specifically Maitreya Muni is talking about Namaha, offering obeisances. At least we should doing menial service. Even in Bhagavad Gita we see that out of 4 things Krishna told, if you do this, then you will come to me. What is it? Manmanava Madbhakto Madhyaj Imam Namasku Mahame Vesatante Pratijane Priyose. Offering obeisances to me is one of them. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me. So offering obeisances is very, very important. Every day we must do at home, if not if you are not able to go to temple. Practicing friendship and surrendering oneself was identical with practicing search for Krishna. So in this way, the Krishna is emphasizing. Then the further second verse is meant Pramanais tat sad Acharais tad abhyasayir nirantaram bodhayam atmanam bhaktim api uttamam labet. The highest devotion is attained by slow degrees of method for constant endeavor for self-realization. Abhyas. Bhagavad Gita also Krishna is mentioning the same thing. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagamna. It is mentioned abhyasa means practice. How? Nirantaram, constantly. Bodhayan, awakening by one's own intelligence. Atmanam. constant endeavor for self-realization with the help of scriptural. How? It should be done with scriptural evidence, theistic conduct, and perseverance in practice. So we should be persevere in our practice, and it must be sadhu, shastra, and guru. That's what scriptural evidence and theistic conduct we must hear regularly. So that's what here Krishna is talking about. To develop this spontaneous love practice, we need to understand this 10 basic principles from Shastra through Guru. So then only, without the causeless mercy of the Lord, we cannot understand. That's why it is mentioned that verse before we were discussing, Ananda Cheta Satatam Nitya Yuktasya Yoginaha. Ananda Cheta Satatam Yomam Smarat Nitya Tasyaham Sulabha Parda Nitya Yuktasya Yoginaha. Gita 8.14. And in the Katha Upanishad also same solution is given. How can you understand? Here in this verse telling demigods cannot understand, nobody can understand Krishna. But in Katha Upanishad is also saying the solution. Easy attain Krishna by constantly remembering, thinking of the Lord without deviation. In Katha Upanishad it is mentioned, Yam evai savranute tena labhyas tasyaiva atma vivranute tanum swam. One who is fully surrendered and engaged in devotion service of the Lord can understand as he is, especially glorification of pure devotees, always thinking of Krishna without deviation, considering time and place without considering time or place or deviation, then he can attain. By glorifying pure devotees unto the Lord with that full surrender, then we can attain Krishna, understand Krishna, attain. Advaita Acharya also said the same thing. Lord Advaita told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wherever you are, O Lord, that is Vrindavan. That is what Satyam, Satatam, Nityasaha means. Satatam means always or regularly, Nityasaha, every day. So we must take to this process of devotion service, especially the chanting and hearing, and then trying to remember the Lord. So that way we can attain Krishna. Further, as it is described here, next verse, third verse, Krishna is explaining. And verse number, Yasya shreyas karam nasti yaya nirvrutim apnuya ya sadayati mam eva bhaktim tam eva sadayet. These preliminary practices of devotion, sadhana bhakti, are conducive to the realization of loving devotion. So this is called Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, what we are practicing. The practitioners of bhakti are called Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. That means we are doing everyday sadhana through this devotion service. So that is very conducive, Krishna is saying. That is a practice of abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagam. Loving devotion, than whom there is no superior well-being, who goes hand in hand with the attainment of exclusive state of supreme bliss, and who can lead to myself. So that's what Krishna himself is mentioning to Brahma, that by this constant practice of sadhana bhakti, but other than our sadhana and endeavor, we must also depend very, very much on the mercy of spiritual master by following an instruction, causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. By depend, constant we should know. That's why more we have to depend on the mercy. That's why we should become more and more Kripa Siddhas. And so more we serve pure devotees and the Lord by physical service, other than hearing and following the Vani service, hearing instruction, then we implement, put it in practice, that becomes physical service. Then we attain causeless mercy by praying sincerely and also doing that service. Now verse number 61, further it is mentioned, Dharman anyan parityajya mam ekam bhaja visvasan yadrishi shraddha siddhir bhavati tadrishi kurvan nirantaram karma loko ayam manuvartate tenaiva karmana adhyayan mam param bhaktim ichchati. Abandoning all meritorious performances, serve me with faith. The realization will correspond to the nature of one's faith. The people of the world act carelessly in pursuance of some ideal. By meditating on me, by means of those deeds, one will obtain devotion, characterized by love in the shape of supreme service. So here also Krishna clearly telling, abandoning all kinds of, just trying to do this ritual, that ritual, read this book, that book, but rather we should abandon all those. Rather we should focus on this having a strong faith, meditating on the Supreme Lord alone, chanting His holy name alone, serving Him alone, with His pure devotees, in the association of devotees. By means of those deeds, one will obtain devotion characterized by love in the shape of that love and devotion. That's why Duryodhana couldn't bind, Ravana couldn't bind. He tried to bind Hanuman, but he couldn't bind. So this way, and then, but Yasodamai could bind, because how? And she could measure. Initially, Lord didn't allow him to tie it down, but finally, with her love and endeavor, Krishna showed his mercy. So she is able to, Yasodama is able to tie Krishna with the rope. Otherwise, earlier 2 feet short. That one was endeavor, one is the mercy, causeless mercy. Without causeless mercy, we can go on trying sadhana, but that's why the prayers in devotion, in humbleness, humility, meekly doing service and offering prayers, that thinking that we don't have anything, any quality, any devotion in our heart, and praying sincerely in that way, then by the pure devotee, spiritual master's mercy, and Supreme Lord also pleased, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, Yasya aprasada nagati kuto. Then we can attain Krishna very easily by krupa siddhi. So that's what in this verse clearly Krishna is telling, that how by always thinking, recollecting, retaining impression, thinking always of the Supreme Lord in this way, and the spiritual master, then we will be able to attain. And further, Krishna is mentioning, aham hi viswasya chara acharasya bijam pradhanam prakriti pumanscha maya hitam teja idam vibarshi videhi tvam aho jaganti. Because in the 6.3.40 we are discussing, there also it is mentioned all the demigods. O Brahma, Lord Shiva, because aham means that ego, false ego. Representation is in charge is Rudra. So coming from Sankarshan, is always meditating on Sankarshan. So one who surrenders to Sankarshan, he can come out of this false ego and come to real ego. To Lord Rudra helps also, is the Vaishnavana Metasambu, is getting all the energy and Shakti from Sankarshan, even to annihilate everything while universal destruction. That time also is getting, 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam talks about it, how he is getting that fire and energy, everything, to destroy the whole universe at the time of annihilation. He is getting from Sankarshan, Anantadev. So from his, actually this Aprameya also, there is a Aprameya, beautiful temple of Lord Aprameya in Karnataka, Dodulapur in Karnataka, it is there also. Dodamalur in Karnataka. Kapila, sage Kapila is always worshipping that it is carved out of saligram stone. So it is beautiful temple, deity also. So anyway, so they're coming to this verse, Krishna is telling to Brahma in Brahma Samhita, listen, O Vidhi, this is the 4th or 5th one, last one I think. Listen, O Vidhi, I am the seed, that is the fundamental principle of this world, animate and inanimate objects. Principle of this whole, because he is the source of both inanimate and animate. I am Pradhan, substance of the matter. I am Prakriti, material cause, and I am Purusha, efficient cause. So Lord is both material cause and efficient cause. It is not a Big Bang theory. Obviously, Big Bang theory indirectly, basically it is again coming from the sound vibration. Yes, when creation happened first, the sound vibration has appeared. So in that way we can think, but otherwise it's not like the scientists are thinking. This fiery energy that belongs specially to the Brahman, that inherits in you, has also been conferred by me. So Krishna is telling, so whatever fiery energy you have belong to them, that is also conferred by me. It is by bearing that fiery energy that you regulate this phenomenal world of animate and inanimate objects. So he is telling Brahma, if you want to create, you must regulate. Then in this way, you can attain, come to the this pure devotion service by following this Sambandha and Avideya Prayojana. And so Krishna is instructing in these 4 verses, in these 5 verses. Further, we also see that. So, and also Dasamula Tattva, before we discuss this, Nakula Brahmachari's pastime, I couldn't share before, now we'll share that. So now Dasamula Tattva, to give the detail about Dasamula Tattva, Lord Krishna has taught this principle to even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught this also, and it's there in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Those topics, and Amnaya Sutta Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also explained. The statements of Amnaya are the chief proof. By these statements, the following 9 topics are taught. The first one is that. So, the Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. This is one of the principles. Krishna is endowed with all energies. That is the second. Krishna is the ocean of rasa. That's why it's called Rasaraj, Raso Vaisaha. Everything, all the rasas, from conjugal rasa, creation, maintenance, destruction, everything, all rasas, everything is coming from Krishna is the fountain head. That's why it's called Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the head of all the gods. Krishna is the ocean of rasa. Fourth one. Fifth one, the jivas are all separated parts of the Lord. So, Namai Vamso Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So, then the sixth one, in bound state, the jivas are under the influence of matter due to their tatastha nature. We are being influenced by matter. So, we are superior than matter, but somehow or the other, we are trying to enjoy this matter, material nature. So, that's where the problem, that's why we are being bound. Number 7. In the liberated state, the jivas are free from the influence of matter due to their tatastha nature. Again, when we realize, by practice, by krupa siddhi, we will be liberated out of this conditioning by using our free will. Then the number 8, the jivas and the material world are both different from and identical to the Lord. This is what is it called? One and different, simultaneously one and different. Achincha Veda Abheda Tattva. Jivas, obviously, yes, we are one with the Lord in the sense that we are in quality, but quantity wise he is huge. Anor Aniyam Smare. So we are Anu, he is the Vibhu, he is the greater, we are the smaller. That's what is mentioned in the 8th. Jivas and the material world are both different from and identical to the Lord. The number 9 is very important. Pure devotion is the practice of the jivas. This is the very important. The 10th one is also important, the ultimate goal. So basically these first first 7 ones are talking about Sambandha. What is the material world, who is Krishna, and who we are, and relationship. That's what is talking about, the 7 of them. And then next one is talking about Abhideya. Pure devotion is a practice, that is Abhideya. The last one is the ultimate. What is the ultimate goal? To get pure love of Krishna is the goal. In this way, first topic is talking about the pramana. The first one, as I mentioned, first of Dasamola Tattva, that means 10 principles. Statement of Amnaya are the chief proof. By the statements of the following 9 topics are taught. So that first topic is nothing but talking about pramana. Then rest everything is prameya, what is proven by the source of knowledge. So pramana and prameya. This way Sambandha, Avideya and Prayojana is being defined in this beautiful. So Krishna has instructed Brahma in this way, this Dasamola Tattva, everything within 5 verses has given very descriptively. Now we will understand how we can conquer, we can attain Krishna, we can understand Krishna and attain by following in this example of Nakula Brahmachari. It is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antelila. Ambuya Muluke hai Nakula Brahmachari, Parama Vaishnava Teno Bada Adhikari. In Ambuya Malik, there was a person named Nakula Brahmachari who was perfectly pure devotee, greatly advanced in devotion service. So, is always constantly thinking, meditating, and chanting and hearing, but also meditating constantly. So that's why Lord himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, entered into his body. Gauda Deshera Loka Nistarite Mana Haila, Nakula Hridaya Prabhu Avesha Karila. Desiring to deliver all the people of Bengal, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the heart of Nakula Brahmachari. Graha Grasta Praya Nakula Prema Vishtahana, Hase Kande Nache Gaye. Unmattahan. Nakul Brahmachari became exactly like a madman hosted by a ghost. Thus he sometimes laughed, sometimes cried, sometimes danced, and sometimes chanted like a madman. Asuru Kampa Stamba Sveda Satvika Vikar Nirantara Preman Nritya Sagana Hankar. He continuously exhibited bodily transformations of transcendental love. Thus he cried, trembled, became stunned, perspired, danced in love of God and mad, sounded like a madman. Taiche Gaur Kanti Taiche Sada Pramavesh Taha Deki Bhare Aise Sarva Gauda Desh. So his body shone with same luster as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he showed the same absorption and ecstatic love of Godhead. People came from all provinces of Bengal to see the symptoms. This is like exactly like Parikshit Maharaj, exactly Sukadeva Goswami. One who is absorbed in that way, then automatically, just like the iron is constantly in touch with fire, it becomes red hot. There is no more iron anymore. It becomes full. When all impurities are gone, it's as good as fire. It's red hot. Same way Parikshit Maharaj constantly absorbed in the thought. He was also Krishna's color. Constantly was thinking, where is Krishna? Searching for this Krishna. That's why it's called Parikshit. Sukadeva Goswami also searching. That's why he immediately left. As soon as he was born at 16 years from his mother's womb, Vyasadev's wife. So immediately he said, first of all he got the assurance, then only he came out from his mother's womb. He didn't want it to be attached to the material world. He left the forest, constantly absorbed. Then he came back running after hearing those two slokas about how Putana was delivered by Krishna, even though she tried to kill Krishna, and how Krishna is so merciful. So Krishna is so beautiful, also compassionate and beautiful, merciful and compassionate. So in this way, then those two verses, Aradhya Bhagavan Vijayashatanaya and that Stanakula Katam, Apaya Jigamsaya. So that both verses, then he came running toward to find who is chanting these verses of Bhagavatam. Then he came back to Vyasadeva and heard whole Srimad Bhagavatam. So further it is mentioned until about Nakula Brahmachari. Yare deka tare kaha Krishna naam tanhara darsana lokahaya premod dhama. He advised whoever he met to chant the holy names of Hare Krishna. Thus, upon seeing him, people were overwhelmed with love of Godhead. So that is the quality of pure devotee. Prabhupada talks about it. Pure devotee, one way to detect is how many fallen souls he would deliver. So that is a pure devotee. And Prabhupada we can see pretty much in all continents, so many countries, wherever he went, now everywhere it is so much growing, devotion service is growing, devotees, so many places, China, Japan, Russia, Indonesia, Muslim country, even Iraq, Pakistan, so many places where they many of them never heard of Krishna or Shastra, Vedas, anything about devotion or bhakti, but they are able to come to that. You can see that is the causeless mercy of pure devotee. So pure devotee, he could deliver so many fallen souls. Caitanya Avesh Hai Anaklera Dehe Suni Sivananda Ila Kariya Sandehe. Sivananda Sen heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had entered the body of Nakula Brahmachari. He went there with doubts. Then he is talking about how Sivananda Sen thinking, oh, Lord he might become mad. May not be true that Lord Chaitanya entered. So he want to test. So that's what is going on. Pariksha karite tanra eve icha haila bahire rathiya tabe vichar karila. Desiring to test the authenticity of Nakula Brahmachari, he stayed outside and thinking as follows. If Nakula Brahmachari personally calls me and knows my worshipful mantra, then I shall understand that he is inspired by the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, he stayed some distance apart from Nakula Brahmachari. Apane bolana mare yaha yadi jani amara ishta mantra jani kahe na apani तवे जानी इन्हाते हया चैतन्य आवेश यथा चिंति शिवानंद रहीला दुरादेश. So then further, so the asankhya lokera ghata keha ise aya lokera sanghate keha darshana na paya. There is a large crowd of people, some coming and going. Indeed, some people in the great crowd could not even see Nakula Brahmachari. Then आवेश ब्रह्मचार्य कहे शिवानंद आचे दूरे जना दुई चारे यहाँ बोला तहारे. In his inspired state, Nakula Brahmachari said, Shivananda Sena is staying some distance away. 2 or 4 of you go and call him. Chari deki daya loke Shivananda bali. Shivananda kon tumaya bolaya Brahmachari. Thus people began running here and there, calling in all directions. Shivananda, whoever is Shivananda, please come. Nakula Brahmachari is calling you. And then Suni Sivananda Sena Tanha Sigra Ila Namaskar Kari Tanra Nekate Vashila. Hearing the call, Sivananda Sena quickly went there and offered obeisance to Nakula Brahmachari and sat down near him. Brahmachari Bale Tumi Karila Samshaya Eka Mana Hana Suna Tahar Nischaya. Nakula Brahmachari said, I know that you are doubtful. Now please hear this evidence with great attention. So beautiful. Gaur Gopal Mantra Tomara Chari Akshara. Avishwasa Chada Yei Kariya Chantara. You are chanting the Gaur Gopal mantra composed of 4 syllables. Now please give up these doubts that have resided within you. We have 7 in Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya ISKCON. We have 7 Gayatri mantra. First one is called Brahma Gayatri. Then you have Guru Gayatri, 2 of them. short one, 4-syllable, and then longer one. And then you have Gaur Gayatri, Gaur Gopal mantra. That is, it has 4 syllables, first one, and then the second long one. Then also Krishna Gayatri and Kama Gayatri, short, both are longer one actually. Krishna Gayatri and Kama Gayatri. In this way, 7 Gayatris. There is a gradual meditation, step by step, like Bhagavad Gita is presenting step by step. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga, then finally again detachment. But we must shred all karma, jnana, yoga and come to pure bhakti. So that the last 6 chapters stressing how to be internally detached. So in this way, through even the Gayatri also, starting with Brahma Gayatri, gradually it goes to Guru, then Gauranga Mahaprabhu, through him, because Krishna himself appeared as devotee, as we heard. He has opened the seal of Krishna Prema, very easily we can attain. So otherwise there is no impossible for us to come to the pure devotional service. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he has mentioned here. Nakula Brahmachari is talking to Sivananda, give up, you are chanting Gaur Gopal mantra. In this way. Now, Tabe Sivanandera Mane Pratita Haila, Anek Samman Kari Bahu Bhakti Kaila. Sivananda saying, thereupon developed full confidence in his mind that Nakula Brahmachari was filled with presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sivananda then offered him respect and devotional service. So, in this way, one should understand the inconceivable potential of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, now please hear how his appearance, Avirbhav takes place. Ei Mata Mahaprabhu Achincha Prabhav, Eva Suna Prabhu, Aiche Haya Avirbhav. It mentioned how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in 4 places. Always is there, and where Mother Sachi Mata is there, where Nityananda Prabhu is dancing, where Srivas Pandit is engaged in congregation chanting, wherever Raghav Pandit is there, because he is always cooking, him and his sister Damayanti, both are cooking for the Lord. It is mentioned Radharani is always present there in that kitchen. He appeared because of his attraction to the love of his devotee. That is his natural kind. So that's what from this verse we can understand. 3.6.40 is telling how, as Maitreya Muni is teaching us, by offering with love and devotion, by obeisances, and by that devotion, so we can attain Krishna. So that's what is we can see from Nakula Brahmachari with his intense devotion, could attract. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing by following in the footsteps of Mother Sachi, Nityananda Prabhu and Srivas Pandit, congregationally chanting and dancing and cooking, feasting, chant, dance, feast basically. So Mother Sachi and Raghav Pandit both are experts in cooking, and Gadadhar Pandit and Jagadananda Pandit also. They all offer different pastimes are there of this offering. Sachira Mandre Ara Nityananda Nartane, Srivasa Kirtane Ara Raghav Bhavane, Ei Chaitani Prabhura Sada Avirbhav, Prema Krishna Haya Prabhura Sahaja Swabhav. In this way, Mahaprabhu himself appeared in these 4 places, and other than these 4, Mahaprabhu entered the body of wherever he couldn't go directly. Many places he went directly, South India Yatra from Cape Common to all the way to South India, all throughout India he travelled. So that directly, but indirectly he entered into the body where some places he couldn't go. He entered into the body of Nakula Brahmachari, and in this way then Nakula Brahmachari in turn gave that love to all others who came in touch and contact with him. And then other place is he appeared in front of Nrsingananda Brahmachari. Was a Pradyumna Brahmachari, became Nrsingananda because his Ishtadev is Nrsingadev. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu given him that name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so came in front of him and ate all his offerings, including Lord Nrsingadev's offering, separate plate he offered, that also he ate. So that's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in these not only 4 places but also for Nakula Brahmachari and Nrsingananda Brahmachari in this way. So by love and devotion we can conquer Krishna through Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and also by more perform Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, but depend more and more on Kripa Siddhi through pure devotee, through serve always devotees, as well as spiritual master prominently, and also other devotees in the practical service to the Lord. In this way we can somehow or the other receive the Kripa from these devotees, and then Lord obviously will shower his causeless mercy, because devotees and spiritual master is pleased with our humility and our service. Then we can understand Krishna. That's why it is Tanuvan Manovir, very important, as it is mentioned. Vacha, words should be very carefully used, So try to not to do anything which is inconvenient to any living entity, not only devotee, anybody. That is one of the 64 instructions in Rupa Goswami's giving nectar devotion. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktam ki jai.